Good morning. I hope you're having a spectacular start to your day. And I wanted to finish up what we've been going over the last couple of weeks. And we've gone through quite a few things. And I'm actually going to wrap it up with a little ebook that has all the kind of lessons we've learned from the last few weeks. And it starts off with values, like what are the most important values to you? And then we look a little bit about where you are, starting where you're at right now. And then going from there and looking at what is amazing about you, what's amazing about you activity. And building off that, we can then go from what's amazing about you to thinking big, being able to look at all the things we haven't done yet and how we could go and get that done. What are the things that we want to do? Thinking a bit bigger than we usually are. And then going from there into our performance partner, helping us to progress a bit quickly through those goals. And then from the progress partner into accountability. And then we learned more from accountability. We learned about mental strength and resilience. And then after that, we talked a little bit about money mindset. And then going from into our last one is our self-love mantra. And I go over this one just because in my experience and what I've seen and coached with people is that life's going to happen and we need to be able to have some key triggers that are going to be able to snap us into a better positive mindset. And we need that self-love mantra. There was back in that situation where we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and I come to find a few things that were happening wrong all at once in life. And all of a sudden, the job that I had for 10 years was gone. After that, I was in a business that all of my money was in, and that was going downhill. And then after that, my wife was then put in hospital. And then from there, I felt like I was going to lose everything. And that was the part where I was like, well, I can see how quickly the mind can turn to the negative. This is how now I know it's best to have this self-love mantra. And for me, what I jumped to right away was all the sadness, all the pain, and all the guilt and all the stress that came up. Like that's where my mind wanted to focus on. That's all I could think about. I could just think about the people I lost to suicide, or the people I lost to cancer, or my cousin's child who was quite young, and I watched him carry his son's coffin to the gravesite, to thinking how much of a failure I was, to being built up by anger for this one guy that kept promising that he'd be able to help me with this situation I was in my business. And then he'd disappear for weeks at a time. And then I would see him again, and then he'd make up all these excuses. And all this time, weeks go by, and all your mind and all your focus is on this negative. And you've got to find a way to snap out of it. And I started leaking some of this to friends. I was putting on an act. I was putting on a smile. I was trying to be the strong person. I wasn't letting my emotions come up. Maybe some people saw it, maybe they didn't. I don't know how well of a job I was putting on, but some people, San, Ian Parkin, friend Dan, Darren, they saw some of it. But mainly Billy helped me. My cousin Billy talked me off the ledge a few times. And it became to a point where I was like, I need to change three things. I knew I needed to change my focus, my words, and my environment. I couldn't keep focusing on all the money being lost, the house being lost, the job being gone, my wife in hospital, the kids being looked after by just me. I couldn't just focus on that. I had to change it up. I couldn't keep drawing on this anger that was built up inside. And I used to watch this show. It was called The Middle. And it had a dad that was a bit rough around the edges, and it had this daughter that was so sweet and kind, and he was trying to teach her how to play tennis, and he would teach her, and she would be complimenting the opponent oh, great shot. Oh, really good serve. Oh, and later on, the dad's trying to teach her, look, you need to like dig deep down and be a bit more aggressive and find that anger deep down and use that. And she's like, anger deep down? She's like, yeah, the anger that's deep down. Find that, use that as your motivation. And she couldn't understand it. And she was like, Dad, you have anger deep down? And I was like, that was so me. I was bottling it up and I was keeping it there. And I had to change the focus. I had to change my thoughts, my words, and my environment. And I started to do that. And I thought of something that would help me. And it was, today is an amazing new gift, and incredible things will happen today. And I had to say it at night, and I would tell the kids at night, I love you, and today was an amazing new gift, and incredible things will happen tomorrow. And then we'd drop them off at school, and they'd talk about mum in hospital, and they'd talk about what I was going to do, and I'd try not to focus on that. And I would say, I love you, today is an amazing new gift, and incredible things will happen today. And we did this for weeks in a row, and things weren't getting better, but I knew I had to keep focusing on what I was saying, what I was thinking, and my environment. I had to work on solutions. I had to look at different ways of getting out of the business situation or whatever it was at the time. And then there was this one time that it clicked. Weeks later, when nothing was getting any better, and I dropped off the kids, and I go to tell Sydney, my red-headed, fiery Sydney, and she turned before I could say anything, and she's like, I know, Dad, you love me, and impossible things will happen today. And I knew she didn't say the same words as me, but it sunk in that incredible things can happen, and in her words, impossible things will happen. And eventually things worked out, and it took more time than I wanted, but I knew from that point on that I had to have this way of getting myself out of challenges. And for me it is, today is an amazing new gift, and incredible things will happen today, and that I act on it, and that I speak it, and that I think it, and then I act on it. I change my environment. And this part of the self-love mantra worksheet that I'll add in the comments, it talks about 17 declarations to increase your inner worth. That we don't need to find happiness from others. It's not about being dependent on opinions of others, or praised or accepted by others, or rewarded by others, but that it comes from within us, and that we know that happiness is part of what makes our self-worth. And what we can do is know that we are amazing, and that we are enough, and that we don't need someone's approval for that. There's 17 declarations here that help you, and that's some that you can either use mine or use one that suits you. I give myself permission to do what's right for me. I am talented, confident in my abilities. There's self-love mantras right here for you. You got to tell yourself that. You've got to understand that life is short, and I've seen it so many ways. I've seen it in people from loss of life, from suicide, from people from losing their life from cancer, from traumatic accidents and injuries that have caused death, from life is fleeting, and you could be gone at any time. And how do you want to be remembered? And we should take risks, and we should try and live life the best we can. And there's a saying that says, when failure is a foe, you'll never grow. But when failure is a friend, you'll grow to the end. So you need to keep learning, keep growing, keep risking. Somewhat educated risks, not crazy. That we only have one life, friend. So don't leave it to chance. Your life's far too important to leave it to chance. And that's what you do if you don't control your thoughts, your words, and your environment. And let's make it count. And I hope that this is helpful for you. I'm going to put this in the comments, and I'm also going to put it together in a See, Say, Do digital kind of just PDF book that you'll be able to have, and it goes through all the lessons from starting off from seeing what most important value is to you, all the way to the end of your self-love mantras that helps you when we go through challenges. So have an incredible day, and we'll talk to you later.